It's not enough to look at something. It's necessary to look through eyes that want to see and that believe in what they see. That's Galileo Galilei's statement, and as most of you know, Galileo was the first scientist to conceive the telescope as an enhancement of our senses. Today, thanks to new technology, we can enhance the user vision even further by combining real and virtual objects in an interactive way. Welcome everybody to the 5th meetup of Nite Florence. Today, we are proud to introduce XR glasses for enterprise, an event showing how both AR and VR glasses can be applied to the industry sector. My name is Cecilia Lascialfari, co-founder of Area6dof.com, creative technologist, aspiring journalist, and organizer of a Nite Florence event. Augmented and virtual reality simplify and support industrial process. It's possible, for instance, to receive remote assistance thanks to AR smart glasses, which enable workers to easily access data and information directly in their field of view. Can design and quality coexist in safety glasses for the industry which exploit augmented reality? How can companies choose which is the best XR technology to apply to their sector? And how can it be integrated into existing production process? It's my pleasure to welcome 3 speakers with great experience in AR/VR glasses for enterprise use that can answer these and many other questions. MAURO RUBIN, CEO and founder of JoinPad, AI/AR expert for Tus-Holdings in Italy. HEITOR BRAVI, Sales and Partnership Director for Southern Europe and Latam at Pico Interactive. ALESSIO DE GAETANO, Sales Director at ALESSIO Univet Group. But now, let's go. I'm happy to introduce my co-organizer, Anthony VITILLO. Hi, Anthony. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Cecilia, for the introduction. And thanks to one of you that have joined this Nite Florence. And thanks for all these amazing speakers that we have today. So I'm Anthony VITILLO. I'm a VR, AR developer and also blogger. Someone knows me as the Scarf Ghost. And I love to be inside this community, and with Cecilia, I'm very happy to organize these events to discuss about the latest news about AR and VR. So before leaving the word to the speakers that have something more interesting to say than me, I want to invite every one of you to be very active in the chat, to speak with the others, to interact, and also with the speakers to present questions, because the great thing of doing this event is the interactivity, because otherwise we can just publish a video and it will be okay. So let's all be active in the chat. Let's present yourself to everyone, ask questions, and create a bit of buzz and have fun together. So Cecilia, let's introduce the first speaker.
And now I'm happy to introduce MAURO RUBIN, CEO and founder of JoinPad, AR expert for Tus-Holdings in Italy. MAURO introduces augmenting worker potential in the industrial sector. Welcome, MAURO. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, everyone. I'm MAURO RUBIN, CEO founder. Thanks for the organizer to invite me in this super cool event about smart glasses and augmented reality. I'm a CEO and founder of JoinPad, and our goal is creating the next generation platform to improve the industrial process, enhancing real-time knowledge transfer from artificial intelligence to humans. We are active in this industrial sector since 2010, and we have several business partner across all the globe. We are talking with Samsung, PwC, Insight, LL Vision, and many others business partners. We are based in Milan, which is our HQ, but we have several offices across all the globe. Dallas in US, Ningbo and Shanghai in China as well. Let's talk about augmented reality. As most of you guys know, augmented reality is a technology that provided the user with the most relevant information about anything in real time. In JoinPad, we work following this direction, applied this technology to industrial processes since 2011 with Augmented XP, which was our first, let me say, our first product in the maintenance fields. It was quite raw solution, but it happens 10 years ago, and we are able to recognize an object and provide the relevant information in real time to the user. And after 10 years, yeah, we are still here talking about augmented reality, which means that we were in the right field and in the right situation. So we are happy to be here today and talking about how we are augmenting the worker potential to help him to go behind his own skill. And we have to start from the industrial sector. Industrial sector is a driving innovation. We are talking about a huge market. In the 2024-25, the global market about augmented reality and virtual reality will be very close to $600 billion across all the globe. And the industrial field move this revolution, this market through the most innovative technology. We can see several times we hear the topic about the Industry 4.0, which represent the smart factory. Smart factory is an ecosystem of interconnected machine technologies and people able to improve process thanks to automation and self-automatization. Yesterday, the paradigm was the user had to access a database to get the necessary information. We are talking about to do maintenance, inspection, how to fix a problem in a factory, for example. But today, the user can receive the necessary information from surrounding elements as an object, places, people, and sensor. In JoinPad, our goal is changing the field of view, the user field of view, from this to this one. And to do that, we created a new paradigm called the augmented worker, which is composed by human factor, such as knowledge, process, collaboration, and technologies like artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and sensor. To implement an augmented reality platform in a smart factory, in a new industrial environment, you can start with a step-by-step process. The easiest step to do is using a knowledge sharing and transfer through the virtual annotation, like this kind of product. These applications, called the smart assistants, can allow the user to receive support meanwhile he is trying to fix a problem in his environment with a remote expert who can include and add the virtual object anchored to the real one. During the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, we registered an increase about the smart assistance request, like 980% compared to the previous year. And this means that a lot of companies which are not able to be connected with physically with their customer started to use this kind of technology to allow the company to follow the customer, to support the customer remotely. But this is just at the beginning, because companies are still interested in overlay information about object recognition and work procedure. So imagine that you have a machinery in front of you and you don't have the right skills to fix a problem or complete a procedure. This technology, augmented reality application for enterprise, are able to recognize the object and provide you the right information in the right moment. It can work on smart glasses, of course, but it can work even on a common smartphone. So it's very easy to simplify the process to acquire a new skill about everything. So instead to read 100 pages about PDF about instruction, you have just to look at the object and getting the right information in the right moment. But that is just as I told you just at the beginning, because the augmented reality allow us to get the real-time data. Just look at a common object. So as you can see here, we are able to recognize an object, and the system is smart enough to ask to the big data repository to represent the data through a dashboard for a easy reading about what is doing, what is happening behind that machine. That is what we did, for example, in China for a huge manufacturing company, a huge manufacturing player in the south of China, using smart glasses and augmented reality. We are able to connect the whole production line and getting in real time if there is a component who need maintenance or in a check, simply check to understand if that component is working in the right way. So as augmented reality help us to understanding the world in a different way. As you can see here, artificial intelligence can started in the last few years to include its capability in the augmented reality field. So as you can see here, this is just a projection and connected to a camera. And the artificial intelligence is smart enough to recognize not just the single object, but even the logic between two different objects, providing the right information to the user about how assembling the object. For this reason, we create a new word called co-AI. It means collaborative artificial intelligence. Is an artificial intelligence who can partner up with a new generation of co-work. The same algorithm installed on smart glasses works like virtual assistants. So the virtual assistant is able to understand the context and say, okay, you need a toolbox and you need the right tool. And when you pick up the wrong one, he is able to say, okay, you have to change it, and they use the right one. In this way, I can work on several processes, even if I have not the right competence to do that. So in a while, I can become an expert about the several processes, and it impacts heavily in the industrial fields. We can see several benefit about all this kind of platform. First of all, there is a travel expenses reduction, because you are not moving people, but you are moving just the knowledge, and there is an improvement about the communication between teams, and a reduction about errors, because artificial intelligence can support you on several decisions, and you can do training remote session as well, simplifying the digital transformation. This is not the future, but that is the past, definitely, because we already sold this system to several companies across all the globe, and we strongly think that the co-AI represent the present, the first step to make knowledge a commodity. This is a new approach, extending the human being ability to cope with the current emergency. So we are used to say that the co-AI is a revolution. We will move from automatic muscle to augmented brain. So that's is my presentation. Thank you very much for inviting me in this amazing event. Then I moved I quit the stage and pass the word to Anthony and Cecilia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mauro. And now let's welcome our next presenter, Alessio De Gaetano, Sales Director of HEITechlab, Univet Group. Alessio introduces VisionAR, the one and only augmented reality safety glasses. Welcome, Alessio. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, Cecilia. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity you gave us. I'm also happy to see so many people. I hope everybody can hear me properly and see also my screen. So what we are going to discuss now, what I'm going to tell you about, is something new, something a bit different from what we are used to see nowadays in the market, talking about augmented reality and smart glasses devices. I will start with a simple step. I'm sure that everyone here knows already what I'm presenting at the moment, this slide, but just to be sure to start from a common point, from a shared point. As you know, this is the spectrum, or rather to better say, the continuum between reality and virtual world, and we position augmented reality here. So typically we can see 100% of the real world around the operator, around ourselves, and on this there is an additional layer of electronic digital data. But if we focus inside augmented reality, we could find some subfields in some way. So augmented reality is indeed something we are very used already. As Mauro was saying, it's already the word of today. We are used to see it basically daily in our lives. We start from the head-up displays in our cars, our phones, navigation systems, and so on. Then there are some more complex and integrated solutions, like I just put some examples of interior design and surgery or medical application, in which there's a need of higher level of details and immersion compared to what we use every day. Now, this can be divided, but as you see, it is not a straight division, but it's always a continuum of solution. between assisted reality, and with this word, this sentence, we identify something more similar to head-up displays, and mixed reality when we go towards the virtual world, meaning that in this case, we put 3D models integrated in the real world. So today we are going to talk of a safety glasses, which is also smart glasses, and it's VisionAR, and VisionAR puts itself here. So we are at the very beginning of the spectrum that we have just seen. This already gives you an idea of where we are going. Now, what is VisionAR? As Cecilia was saying during the introduction, VisionAR is the first and so far the only augmented reality safety glasses. What does it mean? Of course, it's a pair of glasses. Univet is my company. We make glasses since 25 years ago. So we know what a pair of glasses has to be in terms of comfort, in terms of design, in terms of fitting. So we start the other way around compared to most of the other players who typically starts from the technology and try to put the technology on the face. Then there is the topic of safety, and this, of course, has to be stressed a lot in our case, because I would like to take the occasion to answer a little bit on one of the questions coming from the crowd, from the listeners, which was why AR, or more in general XR, so extended reality devices, didn't break in the industrial world yet, at least, even if the interest is there, and we all know this. Well, I think, and Univet thinks, that one of the reasons is this. Typically, when you have to equip a full department, so you have the plan to make a full deployment of a new technology, at a certain moment, sooner or later, you will have to face a risk assessment. So the safety manager will need to assess the level of risk of a new technology so that he will be able to justify the new equipment for a large crowd of operators. Well, there's no AR or XR safety device yet. VisionAR is the first one. So we hope, and the first results are confirmed in this, that in this way, we at least remove one of the main obstacles for full deployment of these devices in the industry. The third point, of course, is the technology, augmented reality. In our case, we wanted to focus on the usability. So rather than asking from the technology the best level of resolution, the best level of immersivity, we wanted to have something which could be practical and could be used in any environment. So we needed a high level of brightness. We needed a high level of transmittancy, so the device had to be transparent as much as possible. And so we identified the best technology in this sense. There's no device in the market today which could be compared in terms of transparency and in terms of brightness compared to ours. So we start from these points, and then we go ahead and discover that basically what you see is VisionAR. I have also one here to answer your question if you want. Is basically a pair of safety glasses. Whoever in the industry is already used to PPEs, so to protection equipment, and is used to wearing safety glasses will not find any difference. It's the lightest device in the market, is the less invasive in terms of comfort. It can be adjusted to any physiognomy of your face, Asian, Western, Eastern, no problem. It can be worn even over your prescription glasses. So it's what we call over spectacles. So it's born to be used nearly from anyone in the field. Then, of course, we wanted also to be sure that it could be used in the best way from the point of view of sharing the product. We know, especially now with COVID, unfortunately, We know that hygiene is a topic, but not only that, because imagine if I have, for example, 2 shifts of workers in the same department, in the same production line, for example. So this means that if I have 2 shifts, I need 2 glasses for the same job. Well, that's not entirely true, because as you can see, we can separate the optical module from the frame of the glasses in order to ensure that the frame itself can stay as personal equipment. Everyone has its own, and it's a bunch of euro, while instead the delicate and costly part, which is the optical module, can be shared, given the fact that it never touches my face, and can be also adjusted itself, so the screen can be rotated in order to encounter the needs of different physiognomies of these different users. Then let's move on the technology a little bit, if you like. What you see, it's a simple scheme in which we identify what it exists now in the market. Basically, there are 2 solutions in augmented reality world. One is the one you see on the top left, where you have a partially transparent screen on the top right of your field of view, while the other one is basically a classic screen, a standard screen, a traditional screen, very small, of course, in the central part of the field of view. Both of these solutions are not compatible with a full deployment in the industry, because basically in both cases, you introduce a blind spot. Now, I don't want to become too technical, but giving a blind spot prevents the company to introduce a device for a full deployment, so for a full shift, for example. This because there are elements of fatigue, getting tired of the capacity of sight, which changes over time, especially because you have it on one eye, so one eye will not see full field of view, and over time this gives problems. So basically these 2 kind of solutions cannot meet the needs of a professional intense use. And this is another answer to that famous question. Well, in our case, we managed to find, we think, the right technology, because first of all, this is a actually transparent screen. It's not like, let's pretend to take as an example the Google Glass. It's not a prismatic screen. A prism is transparent to the light, but not to the images. So you can see the light coming through, but you cannot recognize images of the world, I mean. In our case, the screen is totally transparent and doesn't change the perception of reality. In addition, it's in the center, so you don't have to move your eyes in strange and unnatural positions. This means that the level of comfort is increased immensely, and finally the device is compatible with a whole shift use and multiple days of use, continuous use, let's say. We have also had an investigation about this more in details, so we have a clinical certifications that states that the use of VisionAR, even on long terms, doesn't affect your ability of seeing and doesn't make you tired. So these are very important results. Let's go ahead. We are hardware manufacturers, so we are software agnostic, and I'm also very happy to join this wonderful event with Mauro and JoinPad. They are partners of ours, so we are happy to work with a lot of partners. But of course, we identified some use cases because, as you might have already understood, VisionAR is not the right tool for any purpose. I give you an example. If you want to equip a designing department, well, VisionAR is not the tool for you. Most probably, our next speaker will be more the right one for you. But we identified 3 use cases in which VisionAR can give an added value. One is the one that you are seeing, it's logistics, basically. So the idea of giving the operator the freedom of using the hands, not for inputting data or to read something or to scan something, but just to pick the goods and the item. Another use case, of course, is remote assistance. Mauro already explained a lot how big this use case became lately. We are there, of course, with the advantage compared to other devices that the operator will not be distracted, because the technology we chose is the less invasive possible. So if the operator is doing something which might be potentially dangerous, there's no, let's say, there's no risk that the digital data will distract him. That's the same reason why all head-up display for professional use, of course, have the same features of our screen. So we are talking of monochrome, for example, and monocular. Finally, the third use case is the one that we propose for production fields and maintenance, both local and remote, meaning given instructions. So they can be local instruction or on cloud this instruction. So let's say dynamic ones. In any case, the idea is whatever the operator uses today, which could be a piece of paper or a tablet or the phone or whatever, can be left out of the production field. Now everything is on board. The operator doesn't have to search for instructions. Everything can be, let's say, connected to the specific operation the operator is doing. So they receive the instruction that they need when they need them. Of course, we are talking of IoT. That's it. Just the last sentence is about the operating system. As I said, we are software agnostic, but we wanted to give our partners the largest possibilities of integrating VisionAR in existing systems. So as you see, we have all the three main industrial operating system spreadly used, I would say. So this is it from my side. I would like just to, while I thank you again once more, I would like just to underline that what you have seen is not, as also Mauro said on his side, also on our side, is not an experiment or pilots or POC, but we are supplying. Actually, this year is the year in which we are promoting already global solutions of hardware and software with our partners, of course. But the finished product is on sale already since 2 years ago. Of course, we worked mostly on the beginning with our ecosystem because we were newbie in the high-tech world. We are glasses manufacturers. Everything you have seen is made in Italy. We are very proud of this. And the industrial approach allows us to follow all the requests of the end user. Everything can be customizable. Our approach is the most open possible, and we believe in the industry this will be the winning card.
Okay, so thanks, Alessio. It's been an amazing talk. If someone has questions for Alessio, please write them in the chat. And since there's a lot of questions for Mauro, I hope that will be the same also for Alessio. And now it's the time for the last but not the least speaker, that is HEITOR BRAVI, the Sales and Partnership Director for Southern Europe and Latam, Pico Interactive. HEITOR is also a friend of mine, works for Pico. You can see it also on my background, so it's a great company. And he speaks about enterprise VR, ROE, data is the key. So please, HEITOR, talk with us about what you're doing.
All right. So thank you. First things first, thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, Anthony, for having me alongside with Mauro and Alessio. It's going to be a good discussion right afterwards. I'm gonna present something more in general terms about virtual reality, and especially with ROI. We're going to discuss a little bit more of what does this letters mean when it comes to developing your virtual reality solution, right? Oops. All right. So first things first. I'm from Brazil. I'm currently sales director at Pico Interactive, based here in Barcelona. I have started working with virtual reality back in 2015 from Brazil. I have founded my company for real estate, virtual reality use it for real estate. And last year, I have joined Pico Interactive's team here in Europe. And we have several partners, including I saw two of them here, Gabriel and Gianpaolo, which are here. Thank you very much for your presence, guys. So let's start with some philosophy here. Werner Herzog is a German film director. And when we are talking VR, if you remember a little bit of Alessio's presentation, we were at the right part of it. So a complete immersion, virtual reality takes you out where you are physically located and transports you to another location, right? So we do not interact directly with the actual environment, but bring you via the headsets and via the complete VR solution. We transport your clients, we transport your employees, we are almost like a travel agency here, right? So we can take people from a determined place to go anywhere. So applications for virtual reality restricted by your imaginations. We have a whole world to be virtualized, not only this one that we know, but also other worlds, right? Why use VR for your business? So we are talking about a new technology that's not that new, but it's becoming even more adapted and easy to be deployed within businesses, right? So these numbers are from PwC and also from eLearning Brothers. We are talking about 4 times faster learning. We are talking about more confidence in decision-making, contents that provide almost 4 times more emotional connections, and focus, of course, 4 times more focus. You can imagine it like a traditional way of transmitting knowledge. So let's say a classroom or something like this. Nowadays, back when I graduated, I didn't have WhatsApp, but you can imagine a teacher nowadays trying to transmit knowledge, and students using their mobile phones, or even us while we are at a presentation or something like this. You need to reach out. So focus is really important. And from this level of focus derives the retention rate. So there are some studies that point out an 80% retention rate after 1 year with virtual reality training, compared to 20% after 1 week for traditional training. So these numbers are quite impressive when it comes to being more able to actually work smarter, to actually work in a safer environment. Just like Alessio mentioned it, it's really important that companies, industries, businesses in general, deploying both hard skills and soft skills trainings. It's really important to create this culture of safetyness, right, for all the employees. And this is what virtual reality provides. When we are talking about ROI, we're talking about return on investment, right? So it's a performance measure. Use it to evaluate the efficiency of a given investment. We are talking about, this is just like the basis. This is from Investopedia. It's widely open for anyone that wants to check it out afterwards. So it's basically what you gain over what was the cost for this gaining, right? So it's the liquid thing and the total cost. It's a measure. It's going to give you this ROI calculation. Is going to give you a number. It's going to give you a percentage. What is important regarding ROI? It's to try to maintain some comparable aspects. So you're going to be able to compare, all right, what is the ROI of my current framework in my company, and what would be the ROI if I think differently, if I put an AR glass in my operation, or if I train my my employees with virtual reality, what it would be. And then you can compare numbers, right? This is really important to justify, of course, the investment in innovation inside companies, which is a major topic nowadays. Let's drill down a little bit that that formula that I mentioned before. So let's go for the cost of the investment, right? When we're talking about a virtual reality solution, we are talking about hardware, software, and content, right? So in a nutshell, every virtual reality solution requires investment in a capable hardware that can host the necessary software to deploy contents, immersive contents, of course, with all the services and technical support in order to sustain and to expand your solution throughout your company or throughout your business, whichever it is, right? What about the value? So continuing this drill down, the value of investment. It's important to mention here that there are tangibles and intangibles. What does this mean? It means that you can actually measure how much you are saving or how much you are like the productivity or efficiency gains and cost reduction. You can actually measure that. But something really important when it comes to intangibles, and we are stepping out of this pandemic, so it's really important. I believe that this kind of discussion, it's being more and more important nowadays about time, about how do you value time. If you have a platform that delivers 4 times faster trainings or 4 times faster knowledge transmission in a broader sense, you get people more emotionally connected. You remember the previous slide? We are talking about increments and scale economies that this tool provides you, right? Time is the only resource that we cannot buy. So it's really important for us to have it into account when it comes to the comfort of our employees, of our clients, of whomever is using VR for deployment, right? And now I'd like to discuss some insights. This is not the only source of truth here, but it's important to mention it in the way that we can actually reinforce and justify this return on investment, right? So scale. Once you have a given content that is scalable, you're going to reach out more people, you're going to increase the value of the current value of your investment. So having a standardized content that can be used by multiple persons, let's say for the travel industry, right? So the same content from, let's say from Torino, Anthony, you can present it throughout the world, right? So you can imagine how many people will be able to access the very same content. So the cost of creating this content gets diluted, right? By most users, by more users that is actually using it. Also, it's paramount to have the appropriate service level here. Technical support, not only for turning on the devices, but also to, in an enterprise framework, to upload the APK in the App Store platform, or to have the quality assurance of it in order to actually provide the safetiness of use for the final user. So you'll be able to, all right, I guarantee that the final user is going to be able to check this given content without any further problems. It's going to run perfectly. That's in this sense. And most important, we are in 2021, guys. So there are lots of market experts that are actually deploying meaningful content out there. When you talk about Italy, we're talking about so many providers, but not only Italy, we're talking about Spain, we're talking about everywhere in the world, because it's like common knowledge, right? When you are a developer, you can reach out to websites, you can reach out to wikis. In general, you can go to GitHubs, and you're going to be able to decentralizedly get access to how to develop your virtual reality solution. And these guys will point out to the right hardware. This is really important. One size does not fit all. So depending on the solution that you want to provide for your customer, you will be pointed out to a given headset of choice. Let's say this for gaming, we have this weapon of choice, but it's not a weapon. It's it will be the hardware of choice depending on each solution that you want to provide. All right, and just to remember, data is king. Actually, yes, data is king. Internal data is key to evaluate the value that you deliver, right? From dashboards to reports to any way that you can actually measure the enhancements in productivity, in cost reduction, and of course, the level of happiness of your employee to receive a headset and to actually interact with that experience. And again, have 80% retention after 1 year. This is really important, right? Some vertical cases, I had some vertical cases here, not necessarily from Pico, right? This is also available in the internet from Harvard Business Review, and also from Hello Jill Hoffman, which is a really nice website. Ford industry, for instance, they implemented this VR manufacturing technology and saw reduction in employee injuries by 70%. So we are talking about 70% less human injuries. Behind the machine, there's someone there, right? There's the employee that's at the production line, and you are providing a more safe environment for these people to actually thrive, right? To maintain their jobs. As we all are aware, jobs has been a really tough matter right after this pandemic. So it's important to have highly productive employees working in a safe environment. For education, for instance, in Honeywell, they had compared versus the traditional training methods, the retention with VR, and they experienced it, at least for them, 100% more retention, and reduced the length 150% of the training. So we're gaining time here. Time flies. We try to keep ourselves up to date. And for medical purposes, 230% boost in the surgeon's performance compared to their counterparts, which were trained with the traditional methods. So these are the real numbers. These are the numbers to be shown for your head of innovation, for your company, for actually receiving, being able, and being open to receive this kind of new innovation, right? This kind of this XR platform in a broader sense that will actually deliver value. Speaking of delivering value, let me say some things about the Pico platform. In a way, we are talking about all-in-one, standalone, easy to clean, safe to use devices. All-in-one, all the buttons are already there, so you don't necessarily need the controllers to interact with the experiences. Standalone because it doesn't require a tethered connection to a PC-ready VR. You can use a tethered connection depending on your needs, but you can use it without any cables. Easy to clean. all of the headset is made with non-absorbent material, so you can wipe out all the dirt between users, and you provide this safetiness for people to use, right? This safetiness both for the user and for the data generated at the experience. Pico does not store any kind of data in their 6DoF headsets, and deliver this 4K resolution with powerful resources. We're talking about hand tracking for the next model. We're talking about eye tracking, which proved to be a great tool for measuring heat maps, for measuring stress, for measuring a variety of things. They are designed for enterprise. So with Pico, there's not such a thing of an extra license or an extra business license to operate and to be able to receive all the technical support. We are a global company. We work with worldwide 1-year warranty standard at no extra cost. And last but not least, it's an open source platform with full support for the main virtual reality engines. What does this mean? It means that developers using Unity, Unity XR, Unreal, OpenXR, all of them have the appropriate support to use the platform without necessarily involving Pico, right? We are here to help. We have the support ready to be contacted, but if you want, you can deploy your solution directly to your customer, right? Via this open source platform. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Here are my contacts. This QR code leads directly to my LinkedIn. Let's connect and continue talking there. All right. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Heitor. So you can stop the sharing of your screen, and we can have a little debate all together about AR and VR for the enterprise and the needs of the industry. So since Mauro is waiting there, he was the first to talk, I want to ask him a question. What are, in your opinion, from your experience, the features that companies and enterprises want more from a AR or VR headset?
Can I start? Or,
yes, you are the one that has to start.
Yeah. We have two different type of customer, and it depends by the typology of the company. We have the digitalized company and the company that they are not digitalized yet. Both are interested in remote support, for example, in our cases, because you can start to use it from the first day without prepare any kind of digital document, and your return of investment is come from the first day. Digitalized companies can start to use a feature such as object recognition, classification, and authoring tool, because they already have a digital documentation. That's are the main feature that they are looking for in this moment from our side.
And Alessio, also to you, since you work in the smart glasses field that has been pretty popular lately in the enterprise sector. So what are the features that companies are requesting you the most in the hardware, and why yours has been appreciated also?
Well, thank you for the question, Anthony. I would give you two answers. One from the point of view of the hardware in our experience, and the other one for the software instead. Talking about the hardware, mainly what most of the companies ask for here is something that could be used from let's say a large quantity of people, meaning, I try to explain better. People who today are used to work with PDAs, for example. A PDA is something that they can use personally and then transfer easily to the next operator or worker. that's the kind of thing that most companies are asking for, especially in production and in logistics. While instead, from the point of view of the software, I would say that the most common request that I receive, especially for the most requested use case, which is of course the remote assistance so far, is the integrability of the solution. Namely, companies don't want to use an additional system with additional credentials and passwords and so on top of what they have already. So the most effective and winning solutions are the ones who can integrate, for example, in IoT platforms, MindSphere or Microsoft Dynamics, whatever, because this helps a lot to avoid complications in management.
Okay, cool. That was very interesting answer. Something that I usually haven't heard from others. So I love this, knowing this.
Take notes, take notes.
Yeah. Heitor, since there is one question from the chat from Gianpaolo, it asks, what is, in your opinion, the main limit of VR that avoid mass adoption across the business companies in Italy and all countries of the world?
In my opinion, it's, well, of course, price. We are still talking about a technology that experienced a decrease in prices, but we still need to, of course, to work constantly on this in order to provide the best possible quality for a price level. So this is number one. And number two, I believe that it's still missing to have, how can I say, innovation ambassadors that are really well connected, for instance, with me, with Mauro, with Alessio, that can actually carry on the flag inside the companies, right? So they, oh, here, look what I have. Look what are these guys doing outside here. If we don't step into this technology, we're gonna get behind. So it's like, it's a sense of, not, in a way, it's a sense of urgency that we need to give to these people, in general, to the decision makers inside companies, the stakeholders, that the technology is now available. It's been available for a while now, but it's already here. For virtual reality, for instance, and I'm going to be short on this because we already ran out of time, people still have the old version of the S gear, right, or the cardboards, etc. And now we are delivering 4K. So we are delivering transparent lenses. We are, we are delivering some more features nowadays that it would be interesting to have people more up to date with the current state of the technology and how it can help in the day-by-day operations.
Another question from Mauro, since before even this event we were speaking about China, do you see, people are very curious about what happens there, and sometimes it's a bit of black box for people. Do you think that there is difference in handling B2B in XR in the West and in China, or is more or less the same?
Well, there are a huge difference between West and China. China is more open than West to use smart glasses, for example, and they are. But doing B2B is not that easy there because the B2B enterprise market is new there. And they know very well the B2B applied to e-commerce, for example. Think about Alibaba is one of the biggest company in that market, and it is just 15 years old. Okay, and so I think that in China the B2B for industrial is just at the beginning. And but we in the West we can find several platforms that can help us to spread services like AR, like SAP, Salesforce, and many others. So I think that in this moment, the B2B in the West is easy to implement, is easy to penetrate as a market. But I'm not pretty sure that in the next 5 years it will be the same in China. So I mean, let's see.
I hope for you.
Yeah.
Alessio, there is a question from James in the chat that asks, that says that the benefit for adopting AR and VR enterprise are clear. But someone concerns there could be practical barriers like organizational, cultural inertia, fear of new technologies among the stakeholders, blah, blah, blah. What is your opinion, Alessio?
Well, I was just writing, so you will see also my answer there. But I'm happy also to spread the answer to all the others here. That's true, and I totally agree with him. This is something we face every day. It's especially here in Italy. I don't know if the same approach is out of Europe, because at the moment we are fully concentrated here, fully focused here in Europe. But the idea is investors in companies have always fear of introducing a disruptive technology. That's true. It was like this even for PC at the time. It was always like this. That's why nowadays I just wrote, we can say it's still 50-50, and we managed to reach already this good result in terms of acceptance by adopting a commercial approach, which is very open. We let end user test the technology for a long term for free with no expenses, just to get used to it, just to understand how it works. Because of course, our intention is not to give one device for a small lab, but it's to equip a full department. So before reaching that level, it's important to let them understand that it's just a passage. But we are still 50-50. That's why we join events like this AWE Nite Florence, because what we are investing the most is in awareness. I go around all the time just to let people understand what is this, how can be useful for you. Try it, understand it, don't be scared by it. So it's a point. It's still early to be, let's say, confident on the topic, but we are moving in the right direction, I think.
Wow. I hope so, also for my job. And Heitor, so I want to, today on my blog post, I made a lot of fun also about people that complain about the price of enterprise headsets. So to our viewers, can you explain why enterprise headsets are more expensive than consumers ones? So what justifies this price?
Basically, it's about the service level, right? So we need to have a structure to host APKs. We need to have a structure to perform the quality assurance of the applications to be used in the platform. There are it's a different cost structure than the consumer side, right? Also, the logistics out of it, so we need to ship it for a variety of countries. There are some differences, but it's important for instance, if you compare and it's opened for everyone to see it. If you compare the costs between the consumer version and the enterprise version of the market leader, let's say, you guys already know. Exactly. What is the main difference there? Exactly this service level, the technical service level that needs to be provided in order to deploy the solutions accordingly with the needs of the enterprise. So it's basically this is why prices are so different, and also the different technologies that goes along with them. So for instance, the eye tracking feature or some other features that are specifically for enterprises and need to have a different set of hardware in order to be able to be used by the consumers in general. By consumers, no, I'm gonna by clients in general, right? By business clients.
Okay, so thanks for clarifying this. So just a final two questions because we're already out of time, but this debate is super interesting. So I can't stop making questions. Mauro, so you worked with many companies implementing many solutions, and I've seen that most of them, also what I see outside is remote assistance, or sometimes a bit of training, blah, blah, blah. But there's some enterprise use cases of Excel that maybe are not that famous, but actually there is a lot of requests that could come in the next year. So something that, you know, is not so well known in the communities, but actually is very interesting, or at the moment, no.
At the moment, the first level, as I told you guys, is the remote support, but the company are really interested in the classification and object detection. And then the third step is the IoT integration. Several companies already ask us to implement the IoT stream data. Meanwhile, you are looking at the process. Meanwhile, you are recognizing object. But as I said, this is just for a small subset of company already digitalized, and we have to do a step-by-step into this kind of market. But in the last 2 years, I saw a big step forward from the customer request. Yes.
Okay, so Heitor, another question for you is the last question for you, so don't worry, don't have others. Is there is a lot of people in the education sector, like universities, etc., that would love to have a headset that is like affordable, like the Oculus Quest 2 consumer, but at the same time with enterprise services like the Pico Neo 3. And you know that usually university, high school have not big budgets. So when can we have a product like this? Do you think that maybe in 1-2 years they could have something with that specific or not?
Let's grab. I'm gonna grab my crystal ball here in order to answer you this. But no, what from let me tell you from Pico's perspective, right? As a hardware company, we work with MOQs, minimum order quantities, in order to be able to grant price discounts for our consumers, right? Specifically for universities, for here in Spain, it's called investigación. For these researchers, we do have a special price for them, right? So we do work with a price difference that can match, not match, but meet the expectations of creating these labs. Just for you to know, for instance, at the Universidade de Lisboa in Portugal, we are deploying a great lab with Joaquim Jorge. We're talking about over 20 glasses now, and just for this lab. So we could be able to make this special price with the same service level needed to support their initiatives, right? So this is from Pico's perspective. For the future, and without my crystal ball, I believe that just like smartphones, the path is to have more powerful gadgets within a budget, right? So in our pockets, we already have smartphones which are more powerful than the computer that took the man to the moon, right? So with the coming years, I believe that technology is going to be more accessible for everyone, to actually democratize it, and not only for universities, but for the entire ecosystem, right? So this is what I personally believe, that's the path that we are going through.
I hope so. So Alessio, the last question of the debate is for you, is if someone wants to enter AR/VR enterprise, the B2B field, so what are a suggestion that you can give to him or to her that wants to enter this field?
Oh, Nice question. Don't try to make AR glasses anymore. No, I think, of course, I'm just joking. The more they are, the better it is. Trust me, because this is the way technology grows, of course. I think at the moment, the bottleneck of all these systems, both VR and AR, is the infrastructure. If there could be some kind of partner investing in some specific solution for wearable devices on the infrastructure side, so meaning 5G solutions or other kind of networks, this would be a big help for this specific market. Because at the moment, I think there are a lot of front-end solutions, let's say, but many times the wall we are hitting is that the infrastructure cannot support in the proper way these solutions. So I see a potential there, a potential business, specifically for wearable device. So specifically for AR, VR, giving the possibility for the worker to use a network dedicated just for that service. So not interfering with the other company needs and the other company networks.
Okay, that's great. So with this great piece of advice, the debate is finished, and I thank every one of you, the speaker, Heitor, Alessio, Mauro. It's been awesome speaking with you. I thank everyone participating. All the people also had to go away before because of meetings. We're going a bit out of time, but it was too cool speaking with you. So we invite you to the next Nite Florence that will be next month, and I leave the last word to the amazing Cecilia. So have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Mauro.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Alessio. Thank you,
Thank you.
Heitor.
Thank you.
for
Thanks to
being
all.
here.
All the best
See you
everywhere.
at the next Nite
Cheers.
Florence.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you all for being here. See you soon at the next Nite Florence event. Bye bye.